To our Monday, March 2nd, 2026 Neighborhoods Meeting. I'll call to order, and we'll go ahead and start with introductions. To my left with Mr. Delaney.
Bill Delaney, Mayor's Office.
Brandon Russell, Council Research.
Mary Stefopoulos, Office of General Counsel.
Philip Peterson, Council Auditor's Office.
Good morning, Michael Boylan, District 6.
Ken Amaro, City Council, District 1.
Randy White, District 12.
Mike Gay, District 2.
Good morning, Chris Miller, at large, Group 5.
Ron Salem, Group 2 at large.
Good morning, Tyrona Clark Murray, District 9.
Good morning, Rory Diamond, District 13, the Beaches, just visiting.
All right, welcome, Councilman Diamond. So moving on through our agenda, next we'll have public comment. The first speaker will be Blake Harper. If you would come up, sir, give your name and address for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak specifically to an item on our agenda. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the opportunity to speak at committee. At one point in time, this public comment was never part of committee process, and I appreciate it. So I'm here to stand against 140. That's the renaming of Confederate Street. I'm going to start by reminding everybody that when I started the Unity Project, we had Confederates that were part of the process, Confederate supporters of the Confederate States. And they fell by the wayside because they understood that I was not supporting a specific history, but all of history. That we have to remember all of our history. We must learn from all of our history. And quite frankly, over the time, they started attacking me personally because I was a Yankee and because I was not advocating specifically for Confederate history. So you ask the question, why am I standing against renaming this street right now? Very simply, it's sanitizing our history. The reality is our history is one of accomplishment and overcoming past sins, past bad deeds. That's why we have the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. That's why we have a world of color today. One of the things I did way back when was I showed a picture of Duval County in the year I was born, 1958. It was black and white. Our county was black and white back then. Today is it is a multicultural and multicolored country. So what is it? Why do we need to keep these remembrances about what our past was like? Because we need to have an understanding of how far we've come and the good things we've done. We need to remember that in the Compromise of 1877, the Democrats brought upon the nation a national catastrophe and held up the presidential election. And they held the nation hostage. And the reason we have Rutherford B. Hayes is because the Republicans, to get somebody elected, agreed to remove the federal army, the federal troops from the South. All of the gains that were made during Reconstruction stopped right there. The South was sanitized. All the ex-slaves who'd become elected under Reconstruction were run out of office. Black codes, KKK, separate but equal, Jim Crow. All those things became a fact after the Compromise of 1877. For me, the fact of the matter is we have overcome that very dark history. But we need to remember that dark history exists. This isn't about the Civil War. This is about what happened afterwards and how the gains and the sacrifices of 600,000 men were washed aside. Well, we've fixed that over time. And we need to remember how we fixed it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Our next speaker will be Mr. John J. Nooney. If you come up and give your name and address, and you'll be allowed to speak 3 minutes specifically to an item on our agenda, sir. Thank you.
Hello, I am John Philanthropic Jelly Roll Resiliency Good Boy Nooney. Ocho Tres, Cinco Seis, Bascom Road, Jacksonville, Florida, 32216. I'm in City Council District 4, CPAC, Planning District 3, School Board District 3. President Donald Trump, Governor Ron DeSantis, Jacoby Pittman, Kirby Oberdorfer, Matt LaSalle, Pardon Nooney. Okay, I'll be touching on agenda items. 1, 2, number 4, 2026-0074. Save Rodman, feed the manatees. Agenda item 5, number 6, 2026-0093. It's youth stuff, bump it to $1 million. Agenda item 7, 9, 2026-0096. Follow the Emerald Trail, follow the Emerald Trail, follow the Emerald Trail. Okay, agenda item 12, number 13, 17, FEMA travel. Okay, here's a good one. FEMA travel to 2024-0034, a FEMA demolition house in District 4, CPAC 3, School Board District 3. Agenda item 21, 2026-0138, ethics is gone. Okay, we're going back to that one. Number 24, 2026-0142, flashback to UF 2024-0325. That's septic tank. Yeah, wow. Number 28, 2026-0147, MOSH, flashback to 2026-0024, 2016-18, 2013-384, 2014-560. But let's get back to, Rodman. I'll always remember that one big meeting in the Linwood Roberts room. You had 2 executive directors of the water management districts, Dr. Ann Shortell, Robin Lum. The place was packed. Pull that tape out. And you have to remember, Rodman, it's a reservoir. It's fresh drinking water. Okay? And let's get back to ethics. Ethics is gone. And let me say, neighborhoods, Raymond Day is crushing free speech at the True Commission. OGC, the Office of General Censorship. The True Commission meeting is March 5th, 2026, 4 p.m. Where's the city council in this? You watch those tapes. That's billions of dollars. Go watch it, man. And so, but anyway, the big one, Save Rodman. And FWC.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nooney. So looking at our agenda, we're going to go ahead and move to item number 15 and take up some of the JSO items first so they can get on about their business this morning. So let's go to item number 15, 2026-0104. I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Any discussions? No discussions. Let's open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0104. Next, item number 16, 2026-0105. Can I get a motion? Second. I've got a motion and a second on the bill. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0105. Next, item number 17, 2026-0117. I've got a motion and a second on the bill. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0117. All right, thank y'all, JSO. Let's go to item number 7, and we'll take up Mr. Diamond's bill next. All right, item number 7, 2026-0094. Can I get a motion? I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Councilman Diamond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate you taking this up so quickly. If the chair is okay with it, Jim Gilmore is here. He represents the city of Neptune Beach, and he just described the project, or if you're eager to move along, we can do that too, but happy to discuss the bill. Oh, I'm here and move along, so I'll be fine with that.
We're fine to move along with it.
Sounds good to me. I'll be
Dr.
quiet.
Salem next.
Thank you, Chair. I have an amendment. Councilmember Diamond has indicated the use of operating reserves, which I'm not crazy about, and I think I'm pretty consistent with the use of reserves as we go through the year. I have a suggestion, though. In a subsequent bill, the administration has agreed on the 2% DOGE departmental-wise. They've agreed they are not going to come to DOGE and request those dollars. And they are putting those towards some completion grants, which I'm very supportive of. But I'd like to take $385,000 of those dollars and put it towards this project so we're not using reserves. And then the rest of that could go towards those completion projects. It's a worthwhile project in Neptune Beach, and I believe they are putting in over $500,000 of their own money. The beaches always feel like we're not treating them fairly, so I think this indicates that we're trying to reach out to them. So that's my amendment.
All right, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. So Mr. Delaney, are you on the amendment? Councilman Amaro on the amendment?
Yeah, I got a quick question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to support the legislation one way or the other because I believe that one of the responsibilities of the city government is to maintain its assets, especially those that enrich the quality of life for our community. But I'm just curious, when we take the money from what was supposed to be going to fulfilling those completion grants, that means the grant's going to be short. So where do we get that made up $300,000 and some thousand when it comes time to pay off those grants?
Through the chair to Councilmember Morrow, I think this council has done a yeoman's job of covering the completion grants that are in the next budget. This completion grant we're talking about is in the 26-27 budget. I've got a future bill where we're covering the rest of the hotel. So, yeah, the shipyards, absolutely. So I think through the rest of this year, hopefully we will find another $385,000 to cover that completion grant. I would just rather not go into the reserves to do that.
All right, thank you. Next, let's go to Councilman Boland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Perhaps this is to Mr. Delaney. My concern with respect, and I appreciate the direction this is going, don't get me wrong, but I am concerned about the public service grants and the impact of that 2% cut there. Because what's the administration's positioning on trying to protect the funding to those nonprofits who are relying on those dollars to provide the services they do? A quality of life service, I might add. Through the chair to Mr. Delaney.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Boylan. Obviously this amendment is new to us. We have not had time to discuss it, so we're not going to take a position one way or another on whether we feel it's in the best option. We are committed to funding the public service grants and, also in the spirit of paying down those completion grants.
Mr. Peterson, I believe, wants to do a follow-up through the chair.
Through the chair to Councilmember Boylan. So Bill 100 on your agenda, which is item number 12, has to do with the concept that Councilmember Salem is talking about, and what that bill restores the public service grant 2% cut.
Thank you. That's all I need to hear. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Let me go to Councilmember. Oh, you're good. Okay. All right, Councilmember Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, I was at a similar place with this, and I'll echo some of the things that Councilmember Salem, past President Salem, made about the beaches, and this is an opportunity to do some good things, working with them and a shared fiscal or financial responsibility here of helping with these improvements. But I too was not happy with the original source of funding, even though there will be a reimbursement. This will be on a reimbursement basis. So to me, once you start down the operating reserves route, you tend to start going in that route in other times. So I am happy to hear there are a few of us looking to find other options, and we have other options. We have, through the chair to Mr. Peterson, for example, how much money is still left in the funding that was set aside, that was originally earmarked for downtown projects, but there was an amendment by Council Vice President Howland to say, or any other projects that the city council so deemed. How much money is left in that fund?
Through the chair to Councilmember Miller, there's 30 million still set aside.
Okay, so to answer anybody else's questions, we still have other options, and hopefully that funding will mostly also be used toward completion grants that are coming due, that we owe, that we've approved. But here's another example of a possible source for these funds. So I'm fine with the one that Councilmember Salem has identified going forward, and as you heard, that those 2% funds in a later bill are going to be restored. So I think we're in a good place here. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, no other speakers on the queue on the amendment. One question I would ask, would like to ask Mr. Diamond is, have you looked at any of your CBA dollars?
To the chair, I'd rather not answer the question because it's a good one. I've committed them, and so I wish I could. And CBA is my least favorite topic, so I appreciate Councilman Salem, Dr. Salem, finding this source of funds, and given Councilman Miller's statements, I should have asked for more. Thanks.
All right, thank you. So now we've got a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor, say yay. Yes. Yay. Any opposed? Likewise, none. The amendment carries. So I can get a motion and a second on the bill as amended. I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. Mr. Delaney, you're still in the queue.
Thank you to the chair and the body. I just want to comment that Public Works and the administration were not looped in on this bill prior to introduction or even after. So as of this moment, we're not going to commit to supporting it or to taking any action should it pass. At the same time, our admin, we have spoken to Neptune Beach. It does sound on its face like a worthwhile project. Jarbo Park is a great asset for Neptune Beach. I grew up going there. So we don't wish to slow it down, but I do request that Mr. Diamond reach out to us before this moves along. Get with Ms. Norris, and we can talk about this. Potentially, if we had been looped in, we could have resolved the funding issue sooner than we are right now. Thank you.
All right. I have no other speakers in the queue. We'll open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right. By your action, you've approved 2026-0094. And thank you, Councilman Diamond, for being here. All right. That takes us back to the beginning of our agenda. Item number 1, 2024-0966 is deferred at the request of Council President Carrico. Item number 2, 2025-0361 is deferred at the request of Councilmember White. Item 3 is deferred at the item 3, 2026-0005 is deferred due to noticing requirements. Item number 4, 2026-0074 is deferred at the request of Councilmember Peluso. And then that takes us to item number 5, 2026-0092. Can I get a motion on the bill? I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Dr. Salem, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to my colleagues, this $693,000 and change is in addition to the dollars that Council Member Carlucci has already moved, and with these dollars, we completely cover the Four Seasons Hotel completion grant, which was not scheduled to be paid off until the 26-27 budget. So I think the council is doing wonderful work here in trying to get these completion grants paid off as quickly as we can, and it will make the budget process a lot easier. Through the chair to Mr. Peterson, I know we had a discussion on Friday, and I think with this, we had approximately $60 million, I think, we were over budget. I guess $60 million in completion grants, I think, and we have whittled that down now to how much approximately?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, there's actually a landscape sheet in front of you that has the remaining completion grants. This has been updated to reflect items that were included in the budget, as well as the $25 million that you referenced that Councilmember Joe Carlucci introduced. So you'll see in 26-27, we're at 16.9 million, and that is before the three bills that are before you today would take those down another close to $9 million. In totality, you're looking at 47 million over the committed unfunded projects of DIA. That has been approved by council. And like I said, between the three bills today, it's close to $9 million that will reduce that.
And that was how much when 3 or 4 months ago, what was that total?
We were close to 75 million with the 25 million for Iguana, the 3 million for Rise Doro, and then you also funded a smaller $2 million project as part of the budget.
If I can just make one other point, Chair. In past years, when we found these debt dollars and such, there'd be a scramble to spend them on both sides. I'm not suggesting it was just the administration. It was like who could get the bill in first. And I think the approach that we are now using to pay off completion grants that we've already approved that we have to pay is such a transition for this council. And I think the administration as well. It just shows a lot more physical responsibility than I was seeing in the past. So congrats to all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, okay. Colonel Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor, and also, almost felt like it was almost like a church kind of situation for me. I almost yelled out "Amen" to the comments I just heard, and I'll give credit, as was pointed out, the administration has been working more in this direction, as our council has, in addressing those approved completion grants, not scrambling the current year, but trying to help address it leading up to that. So I certainly agree with the comments that were just made, and we're on a better path. My hope is we stay on that fiscal responsible path. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me go to Councilmember Boylan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to be added as a co-sponsor and commend the chair of the DOJ committee for the good work he's been doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me go to Councilmember Clark Murray.
Thank you, Chair. I also want to be added as a co-sponsor. I am definitely, I see you looking at me. I mean, common sense is common sense. And so this is a good use of our general fund and just the way to help anticipate what may happen in the future is by paying down debt today. So it just makes good common sense. So once again, I want to be added as a co-sponsor.
Thank you. Let me go to Chief White.
Yes, sir. Please add me as a co-sponsor also.
All right. That leaves, there we go, Councilman Amaro.
I don't want to be left out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and please add me as well as a co-sponsor. So I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Open the ballots and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you've approved 2026-0092. That takes us to item number 6, 2026-0093. Can I get a motion on the bill? I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Dr. Salem.
Through the chair, to Mr. Peterson, this is one of his $10,000 grants. Is that correct?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem, that's correct.
And we're letting this go through because this was in place before my $25,000 minimum came up. Is that correct?
Through the chair, yes, sir. This is just an extension of a previously approved agreement.
Good for him. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Colonel Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question about, I guess, through the chair to the auditors. Had this organization, had they been on the non-compliance list, and if so, has that been cleared?
Through the chair to Councilmember Miller, they were not on the non-compliance list. There was an issue in them getting set up in the financial system that didn't allow for them to be able to draw down a reimbursement within the 4-month time frame originally approved. And so once that became aware to Councilmember Johnson, he started pursuing an extension, but they have not been on the non-compliance list.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. No other speakers in the queue. Let's open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you approve 2026-0093. That takes us to item number 7. We've already took action on. And go on to item number 8, 2026-0095. Can I get a motion on the bill? Second. I've got a motion and a second on the bill. No speakers in the queue. Let's open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0095. Takes us to item number 9, 2026-0096. Get a motion? I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Colonel Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to ask, and maybe it's Ms. Sickler, I just wanted to make sure I understood, and it does say federal grants, so these are federal grant dollars. I guess we won't need you. I just wanted to clarify, because I've heard a lot of comments saying, you know, the federal grants monies were cut off, and this is all the administration and the council, and we aren't receiving any federal grants for these projects, but we are. I just wanted to verify these are federal dollars that are being applied for this particular project.
Through the chair to Councilmember Miller, they are federal dollars. The grant was awarded to Groundwork Jacksonville. They applied. It was in their application. They told the federal government that they were going to sub-award it to the city. And so this bill is entering into an agreement with Groundwork Jacksonville for them to give us the $2.2 million.
But it is for money for work through the chair on the Emerald Trail McCoy's Creek project.
I don't believe it's Emerald Trail related. This is related to the flooding in the McCoy's Creek branches, which kind of coincides.
Which is tied together. Okay, I just want to verify that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Let me go to Councilmember Clark Murray.
Thank you, Chair. So yes, this is connected with the McCoy's Creek area. So it is not, to Colonel Miller, what you were saying earlier. So this particular area, just keep in mind that this area for decades has been suffering in regards to flooding. The McCoy's Creek, at one time, it was modified so that it was much narrower than it was in its natural state, so it's being restored to its natural state. So there are various aspects of it that are being restored. And so especially for the Lackawanna and North Riverside area, any aspect of the creek that is being restored to all of it's being restored to its natural area, natural flow. But this funding will help save lives, property, and it's going to add some aesthetics to that area as well as to downtown. Also, I want to be added as a co-sponsor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Delaney.
Thank you to the chair, through the chair to the body. I wanted to clarify this money. I think what Mr. Miller, Colonel Miller was referencing was the federal grant that we received a couple of years ago the 147 million. That was pulled out, but this is separate money from a separate grant that's going, and it will positively impact the Emerald Trail. It's not specific to the Emerald Trail, but it's going to have a lot of other impacts as well, as Councilmember Clark Murray just said.
All right, thank you. No other speakers in the queue. Let's open the ballot and record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0096. Takes us to item number 10, 2026-0097. Get a motion on the bill. I got a motion and a second. Councilmember Boylan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do we have any idea what it cost us? This goes back to 2017, 2018. How much in legal fees we probably incurred? I understand it's below the line, but still. The short question is does this $100,000 offset what we've invested in terms of getting to this point?
Due to the nature of this being a legal settlement, I'm going to defer to OGC.
All right, Ms. Pinkstaff, go ahead.
Thank you so much. Tiffany Pinkstaff here on behalf of General Counsel's office. Yes, I actually had that question asked of us by the auditor's office, and since the pre-suit would have been in late 2017, early 2018, from that point to now has been about $250,000 in attorney's fees.
All right, you good, Mr. Boylan? Oh. All right, no other speakers then? Oh, Councilmember Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to support it because it closes the book on this. But just to piggyback on what Mr. Boylan is speaking of, and this is one of the things that we have to be aware of when we move into litigation, that who really gets rich. And had a conversation with a friend just a few days ago who ended up spending $500,000 in legal fees. And it's just, God bless the profession, let them make some money, but we have to be vigilant of that.
All right, very good. Thank you. No other speakers in the queue. So open the ballot, record your vote.
Six yeas, 0 nays.
All right, by your action, you approve 2026-0097. That takes us to item number 11, 2026-0098. Can I get a motion on the bill? I've got a motion and a second on the bill. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0098. And now that takes us to item number 12, 2026-0100. Can I get a motion on the bill? I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair, and defer to Mr. Salem on this, but I believe this is the bill that we would reduce by the $385,000 that then funded Councilmember Diamond's project at Neptune Beach. So I actually don't have the total appropriation, but it would be a $2,275,086 coming from debt to restore the 2% cut as it relates to all non-departmental line items, and then the 2,275,086 that was being pulled out of the lapse would be reduced to $1,890,086 to correspond with that $385,000 reduction.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peterson. No other speakers in the queue.
Thank you. So the amendment was just described by Mr. Peterson to reflect the reduction that occurred from the last piece of legislation that was amended to pull that 385. It's showing that corresponding, I'm sorry. And it's also correcting a scrivener's error. Ms. Clark Murray, thank you for referencing it for us.
Okay, so now we got an amendment on the table. So I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. And so speakers in the queue, let me go to Ms. Clark Murray on the amendment. On the bill. Mr. Delaney, on the amendment or the bill? Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, through the chair to the body. This is part of the reason that we're requesting that Mr. Diamond meet with us on his bill. If he had done that, we could have potentially resolved this funding issue that we're now having to deal with in this committee on a later bill that we felt that we already had accord on. Again, not that we necessarily oppose what Mr. Salem was trying to do on the previous bill, but it does affect this one that supports us. So we're not going to be able to say yay or nay, like that we support it, go for it. But I do want to say that the bill here that we had written, we still do support, and anything that gets to the spirit of what we're trying to do here is a better outcome than where we were.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me go to Dr. Salem on the amendment.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to make sure we're consistent. I never heard from anybody on the use of these Doge dollars either. The bill just appeared. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. So now, all right, Ms. Clark-Murray, you're recognized on the amendment.
Through the chair to Mr. Peterson. So, and I hate to sound as if I'm second guessing in any of our auditors. It's like I apologize tremendously. So is this the right bill? Is it this bill 0100, or is it the one that's coming up 103? Because that's where the reduction is in regards to the 19. Is it the 19 million? Is it this one or the next one? About the 2%.
Through the chair to Councilmember Clark-Murray, this bill 2026-100 deals with the 2% lapse. So the administration is proposing to take debt savings and fund the cuts that were made to the non-departmental line items as it relates to the 2%. In doing so, you then have money sitting in the 2% lapse that is not needed for the purpose in which it was cut anymore. And so they were proposing to take that and fund completion grants. But due to the amendment to Councilmember Diamond's bill of using the 2% savings, we'll reduce this by that $385,000.
Right. So you're reducing, through the chair, you're reducing which the total 4 million, or individual aspects from the different accounts?
So the total 4 million for the 4.5 million will go down to $4,165,172 for a total appropriation within this bill. The 2% non-departmental items, so the PSG, the Shands contribution, all of the non-departmental items will be fully restored. And instead of sending 2.275 to completion grants, that number will be reduced to $1,890,086.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. I have no other speakers on the queue on the amendment. I've got a motion and a second on it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Likewise, none. The amendment carries. I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. No other speakers in the queue. Open the ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you've approved 2026-0100. All right, now that takes us to item number 13, 2026-0102. Get a motion on the. I've got a motion and a second on the bill. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair to the committee, we have our office has a recommended amendment to add language clarifying that this applies to unfunded completion grants, and that they also shall not be funded with debt in the year in which they are going to, this would kick in. Similarly, we don't want to encounter what was done in last year's budget where the related development was proposed to be funded with debt.
All right, thank you. Colonel Miller. All right, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. So, Colonel Miller, are you on the amendment? Ms. Murray, are you on the amendment? All right, go ahead.
After I ask the question, Chair, you all can determine whether or not I'm actually on the amendment. So with this particular bill, the completion grants, through the chair to Mr. Peterson. So completion grants, they are by definition funded from the general fund?
Through the chair to Councilmember Clark Murray, there's no specific definition of where they have to be funded from.
Okay.
Historically, they have been funded from the general fund. I think ideally we'd like to get to a place where DIA is able to fund them within their CRA, but we're not yet to that point.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. Dr. Salem on the amendment.
Thank you, Chair. The comment, first of all, through the chair to Mr. Peterson's comment, either through the CRA or through loans versus completion grants is the comment I would add to yours. So we're not using cash, so to speak. It would be a loan if nothing else. Number two, the Lanin bill of a while back allowed the mayor to use, as I recall, 1.25% of the budget and to use reserves. If the mayor decided to do that and use reserves in some fashion, how would we know whether those dollars are coming, are covering a completion grant or something else in the budget?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem. So you're correct. Councilmember Lanin did propose a bill as passed by council to limit the amount of reserves that can be included in the mayor's proposed budget to 1.25%. So that would just be a funding source of how to fund the entire budget. Obviously, during our budget review and going through the budget hearings with Finance Committee, our office would make you aware of whether or not that had been surpassed or not. And then we would also know, similar to, I call it the Salem tracking sheet, of which completion grants are coming due in that fiscal year and which ones have not been set aside funding. So as dollars get put aside, similar to the two bills you've already done today, we will work with DIA, the administration, OED, on reducing the outstanding completion grants that are not yet funded or have funding set aside for them, to make you aware of how this bill, I'll call it the Miller bill, would kick in on completion grants that need to be funded in the year that they're expected.
Okay, I'm not sure that you answered my question. Let's say that the mayor submits a budget that has 1.25% of reserves in the budget, some $25 million to use a figure, and the completion grants are in that budget. How would we know whether she's using reserves to cover it, because it's a $2 billion plus budget? How would we know whether reserves are being used to cover any portion of it?
Through the chair to Councilmember Salem. So in reviewing the budget, we work with Ms. Moyer in her office, and they identify those one-time sources and the one-time expenditures that they are intending to cover with those sources, and we make the council aware.
Perfect. That answers my question. Thank you.
All right, thank you. No other speakers on the queue about the amendment. All in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed likewise? None. The amendment carries. We get a motion and a second on the bill as amended. All right, I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. Colonel Miller, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, I just wanted to explain it. I think it is well explained in the verbiage here, but I had heard the exchanges and some of the challenges from the Finance Committee and others that were working on various budget matters. And to me, after hearing that, this made sense to me to help us kind of tighten things up a little bit, where if we know there's a projected completion grant or any other type of financial incentive that is coming due, we've agreed on it, it's been approved, and we know it's going to come out, let's say next year, for example, that we all need to be tracking that. And when the proposed budget is given to the city council, in that budget should be those known approved completion grants that are projected to be paid in the upcoming year. And so that's what's behind this. It's just an attempt to try to make sure we're not after the fact trying to figure out how we pay for and what sources of funding do we pay for the upcoming year's completion grants. But happy to answer any questions. I think that's pretty straightforward, and I thank the auditors for working with me on this.
All right, thank you. Let me go to Councilmember Clark Murray.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Peterson, I think you answered what I'm about to ask earlier because I heard it in your explanation to Mr. Salem. So how will this work in regards to the bills? Not bills, but in regards to the different appropriations. So say, for example, there is a project, they want to use a completion grant. How will that work in terms of the ordinance, and how will this, like the knowledge, how will we know what funding source to use, and not necessarily us, but just whomever in general, be it the administration, be it city council, how will that work?
Through the chair to Councilmember Clark Murray. So OED and DIA each track their obligations that have been committed, approved through city council, and they have schedules based on the estimated payouts, based on where a developer is in their construction of a project or hiring of individuals. They discuss all those with all those developers. In doing so, those two departments submit their budgets to the budget office in the March-April timeframe, and as the budget office working with the mayor's office, they prepare the budget to account for all of those known obligations that are expected to materialize in that upcoming budget year. And so as a result, with this bill, the mayor's office will then have to include in their budget those known incentive dollars that are expected to be paid out in that year. If they don't include that, then based on the language here, it would not be considered a balanced budget. So what? I got hopped on the queue. This is not just for completion grants. Completion grants are the ones that have the big ticket, big dollar amounts tied to them, but the language in here is for completion grants or other similar financial incentives. So it really encounters all financial incentives that the city has committed itself to. So whether that be a completion grant, whether that be a loan, whether that be a rev grant, a jobs grant, any of those types of things would be covered by this language, and so it would be required to be included in the mayor's proposed budget in the year that is expected to be paid out.
All right, thank you for that. I appreciate this bill, Councilmember Miller, because it's just like your own home. You want to go buy something, you need to figure out how it is you're going to buy it. So I appreciate it, and I also want to be a co-sponsor. We're being some smart, maybe some of you all need to get on finance, or maybe some of you are on finance, but I think we're doing some smart moves in regards to thinking about how our dollars as a city are going to be used and making sure that we have sources to fund them. So I appreciate this bill. Don't think I'm against it. I just want to make sure that it doesn't create a bottleneck in some cases for our auditors, and then just thinking about what it is, how each project is going to be funded. But I think we do need to know in advance how a particular project for a particular developer or whatever the case may be is going to be funded. So thank you for that.
All right, thank you. No other speakers in the queue. I want to be added as a co-sponsor on this as well. I think it brings us to a level of, awareness and fiscal responsibility to where we're kind of looking at the whole big picture, not just parts of the picture. So with that, I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. So open the ballots, record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0102. That takes us to item number 14, 2026-0103. Let me go to Mr. Peterson first for the auditor's recommended amendment.
Through the chair, we have a recommendation on this one as it relates to where the dollars are being put aside for. So you'll see in our notes that we recommend funds be proposed for the funds that are proposed for the N5 completion grant be limited to $1,061,600. This matches the DIA schedule that you have in front of you, and so the remaining $532,257, we would recommend putting in a contingency for the N4 completion grant because that one is not yet fully funded. So no change to the dollar amount, just how the dollars are set aside for future commitments.
All right, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. Ms. Clark Murray, you're recognized.
Thank you. If Ms. Moyer would come forward. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what are your thoughts in regards to this particular, the auditor's recommended amendment?
Angela Moyer, Budget Office. I have no problem with it. What I'm going to end up doing is when we get into the budget process, the most recent and up-to-date numbers that I have from DIA, I will use to move the money around if I need to as part of the 26-27 budget process. So I'm fine as long as it goes in there for the completion grants. I'll just move it if I need to in order to plug everything that's due for 27. Keeping in mind that I'm looking holistically at the whole nut that's available that we're going to have to fund, over the next 3 or 4 years. So I will be stocking away as much as physically possible. So you're probably going to see me a lot.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. I have no other speakers in the queue on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say yay. Yay. Any opposed? Likewise, none. The amendment carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the bill as amended? I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. No speakers in the queue. Open a ballot, record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0103. That takes us to our next item 15. We've already taken action. 16 and 17, we've taken action. Takes us to item number 18, 2026-0118. Can I get a motion on the amendment? Second. I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. No speakers in the queue on the amendment. All in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed? Likewise, none. Amendment carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the bill as amended? So I've got a motion and a second on the bill as amended. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0118. Next items are on second. 2026-0136. 0137, 0138, 0139, 0140, 0142, 0143, 0144, 0145, 0147, and that takes us to item number 29, 2026-0148. Can I get a motion on emergency? I've got a motion second on emergency. Mr. Peterson.
Through the chair to the committee, the nature of the emergency is that they want to be able to allow workforce industrial training to proceed with the program as soon as possible. After the bill was approved last year, Grants began working with the organization, and they have a couple of recommended changes, which is why the term sheet amendment is here before you today.
All right. Any other discussion on emergency? None. All in favor say yay. Yay. Any opposed? Likewise. None. Emergency carries. Can I get a motion and a second on the bill as an emergency? I've got a motion and a second on the bill as an emergency. No speakers in the queue. Open the ballot. Record your vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
By your action, you approve 2026-0148 as an emergency. Next item is on second, 2026-0149, 2026-0150, 2026-0151, 2026-0155, and that brings us to the end of our agenda. If there's no other comments from the committee, and I see none, we are adjourned.